All right, good evening, everyone. Tim Davis coming to you guys with a market review here. Today is Sunday, July 30th, 2023. I'm going to start off by taking a look at the SPXA 200R, which is the tool that tracks the percentages of stocks in the S&P 500 that are trading above their 200-day moving average. And I want to point this out real quick by looking at this tool. Normally, when you see the overall sentiment fluctuate or change, whatever, direction overall sentiment is, normally you'll see the market I'll start to trade the same way. So I want to point something out here. So this one, I've been tracking this tool for quite a while. And for those who've been watching some of these videos that I've recorded over the past couple of months, you will have noticed that I highlighted a range. This is a wide range that this particular tool has been trading in for quite a while. The highest that the range has been was at 76%, which means 76% of S&P 500 companies trading above the 200-day moving average. And the low part of the range is around 33%. So we have been moving back and forth between this range, and look where we're at now, right back at the top of the range. Back at the top of the range. So where do we go from here? It looks like we want to stall at this level of resistance. So we got back to the top of this range and started to stall, as you can see by looking at that red candle that showed up. So this is considered a pivot point. Looks like we are at a pivot point. So now we have to see, what does the markets do from here? Does the markets ignore this pivot point and just go higher? Or do we stall here and eventually reverse pattern? I think we could possibly stall for a minute and reverse. This range has been a very tight range that we have been experiencing. Since November 2022, we've been in this tight range. So we have to wait and see what happens when the market starts to trade at the beginning of this week. But we are at a level of resistance. So since this sentiment tool is showing us that we're at a level of resistance, let's take a look at the actual S&P and see what it shows. And this is a weekly chart we're looking at too, folks, by the way. All right, here's our weekly chart of the S&P, and wouldn't you know it, same type of setup. We are running into a level of resistance. So this level here is right around 45.82-ish. So around here. As you can see, we have hit that level before, overshot it back here, back in April of around beginning of 2022, overshot it there, but came right back down. So this red candle is pretty much where we've seen a pivot point lower. And we're at that level now where we could be in store for a possible pivot point lower. We hit that level before, also back in the beginning of 2022. So this appears to be a strong level of resistance that the market has to deal with. And if you look at the RSI, we are in overbought conditions. So what can we see moving forward with the S&P? We have to wait and see. But right now we are, been going up for quite a bit now, and we're starting to hit a level of resistance. So we could easily have a pullback to the moving average, or we could pull all the way back down to the support level that we broke out above, which is right around a 42.50, close to the 42.50 level. So I have to wait and see. But right now, again, it looks like we are at a level of resistance as it relates to this S&P chart of this weekly chart analysis. Now let's take a look at. Let's go straight to our Dow Jones. Dow Jones looks like it broke out above a level of resistance, but it too is about to run into another level of resistance. As you can see, these long wicks right here. Oops, I want to do that. So as you see these wicks right here, we are in that area now. So could we be about to see a continuation of a pullback in Dow Jones? That's a possibility. We have to wait and see. Again, we are hanging around a level of resistance as well with the Dow, according to the weekly chart. All right, let's take a look at the NASDAQ. And NASDAQ is in overbought conditions, folks. No matter how you slice the pie, we're in overbought conditions. And it too is hitting a pivot point right there. So we're right around a pivot point around 14, could go up a little bit more, possibly 1450, but we are right around a pivot point. So anything can happen right at this point. We could start to see a major pullback, or just a pullback to the moving average, or a pullback to the previous level of resistance that we broke out above, which will now act as a level of support. So that's where the NASDAQ is. And again, we are right at a level of resistance as well on the NASDAQ. Take a quick look at our Russell. You know it, same scenario. All of these are like hitting levels of resistance. See the level of resistance that we're hitting? So again, that is a level of resistance that the price action is running to on the Russell as well. Right around this 1981 area. We hit that position that level recently. We hit it here back in the beginning of 2023, hit it here in like around July of 2022. So this level seems to be an area of resistance. So we have to see what happens in the near future, but all indices are like hovering around a level of resistance, with the SPXA showing room to the downside as well. All right, with that said, let's take a look at our VIX. And if we look carefully at this weekly chart of VIX, VIX is hovering around these lows, but look at this. VIX is hovering around the level of support. And it has been hard pressed to break out of this range. So this is the range that the VIX has been in, hanging around the $15 level, between 13.5 to 15. That's what we'll be hanging at. And we have to wait and see, but it looks like it is trying to establish a strong base here as well. Excuse me, for potential move higher. All right, that is our VIX. Now let's take a look at crude oil. I'm gonna take a look at crude oil, and I'm gonna show you guys stock that I've been paying very close attention to. It looks like it really wants to break out in a big way. Here's crude oil. And again, crude oil also is back at a level of resistance. So we have to wait and see what happens. See if anything has the strong possibility to break out above this level of resistance. I would say it would be crude oil, because crude oil has pretty much been range bound for quite a bit until we just got this recent steady march up, back up to the level of resistance. So do we break out above this level? That's a possibility. We have to wait and see if that happens. If we don't, we can see a pullback to the moving average, and then possibly a pullback all the way back down towards the bottom of that range. But I think with this steady up move we've been in for a while, we may not retrace back to this bottom of the range. Excuse me, folks, only time will tell. Again, right at levels, just going to see where we go from there. All right, with that said, again, I do believe that crude oil could be in a process of a major breakout. So here is USO, which is one that I said keep an eye on if you're not already in a position, because it looks like it has more room to run. This is more room to run. This is the weekly chart. It's like we are just starting to hit the overbought territory as you look at the RSI, which means that we could be about to break out above this level of resistance, which is right around my cursor there. 72, 72.15. So we got to wait and see what happens come Monday morning. But if we get a strong break above 72, if we hit 80 on if we hit 75, you get 75. Sorry about that, folks. I am exhausted. 75 or 80. 75 between 75 and 80, which of USO hit those levels, that could be a significant breakout to the upside. So that's USO, something to think about. One other one that I think is in a very, very good position for a major breakout is BABA. For those who quote me a couple weeks ago, I said BABA is one of the ones that I've been trading because it looks like it is ready to try to catch up with the rest of the tech sector. If you look at the bigger picture of BABA, it's a weekly chart. I'm not even going to stretch it back to as far as we can go, but it's been in a strong downtrend. Look at this. We was trading all the way up to about $300 down 2021, and it's been in a steady downtrend since. And then over the past couple months or so, this is our low that we hit back in around September, October of 2022. And since then, we made a nice little bounce, but then we came and settled right in a range. And this range right here, folks, we've been in. This range we've been in since the beginning of the year. So could we see BABA start to rally into the end of the year? That is a huge possibility. Again, if we look closely at the setup now of this weekly chart, again, we are hanging around in a range for a bit, and it looks like we are trying to break out of that range now, according to this weekly chart. So I think it's BABA has a strong, strong push behind it to break out above this level of resistance in a major way by looking at this weekly chart where the TTM squeeze like it's about to turn positive. RSI not even over what territory yet, and we have earnings coming up, so that could be a catalyst to help boost it higher. But even without earnings, we have been seeing a steady march up in BABA since we hit around this $80 level. We've been marching up since then. And again, it looks like we could be in store for a continuation to the upside on BABA in a major way. Excuse me, folks. So with that said, that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Hopefully this is some information that you guys can use. Again, pay close attention to the overall markets because it looks like we could be at a level of resistance, but there are some stocks within the market that has not participated in the rally over the past several months. So BABA looks like it could be one. I'm looking like it could be in store for breakout to the upside. And again, USO, which tracks crude oil, looks like it also wants to break out. So those are the two stocks or USO as an ETF that I've been paying attention to. USO and BABA that I've been actively trading and sitting in positions for possible moves higher. And again, beware of the overall market because we could be at a spot where we hit the ceiling and we could start to trade backwards, back towards a previous level of support, previous level of resistance, which became support. Or we could start to pull back and just hang around the level of resistance that we're at now. So food for thought, something to think about. Until next video, folks, enjoy the rest of the weekend and enjoy your week, and happy trading, everyone.